Good afternoon, dear students. Now we consider the topic number 4 about management styles and networking. We consider more function of management, leadership styles. We look at control process and consider networking. Our objectives are to describe the last two functions of management, leading and controlling, to discuss concept of evaluation of leadership, to explain how customer satisfaction is linked to controlling, and to discuss the power of building and networking. And I'd like to focus on the last two functions management. We have talked previously about the functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling. And that is leading and 5 controlling. I would also like to visit with you about some new theory, some new concept, the evolution of leadership. So we have seen this overview of the 5 functions of management before, and I'm going to focus on that again a lot of detail. But the 5 functions are planning and organizing and staffing, and the focus today is gonna be on leading and controlling. So leading. We are gonna focus on leading, the first function of management, because it's about communicating vision so that it is aligned with our goals. It's about setting and achieving goals with people who want to follow us. It's about inspiring and motivating individuals. Also, it's about have high integrity, be trustworthy, be a role model, listen and give feedback, be present and available, and also it's very important to celebrate successes. The 5th function of management is about control. It's about eliminating risk. It's about monitoring and measuring to make sure our plan achieves our organizational goals. It's about, if the plan gets off track, how do we identify and take corrective, and how it measures, and how do we evaluate whether we achieved our organizational goals and did we satisfy our customers. I'd like in this topic to introduce you to some new advances in leadership, and I'd like to introduce you to this revolution of leadership. First, brought forward as situational leadership by Ken Blanchard in the 1960s. It all depends. The preferred actions really needs to depend upon the variable of the situation, and one needs to consider all of one's experience and options before choosing a course of action, and flexibility is the key. An article that was published in 2000 March and April edition of the Harvard Business Review pictured an executive with a bag of golf clubs, a full bag of golf clubs, and that picture really is to stimulate why does one need all of those clubs. A new leader, a new golfer may only use 3 or 4 clubs and be able to manage their way through the course. The same for leadership. A new leader may only choose or use one leadership style. Over time, as one gets more and more experience and faces more and more situations and courses and wins and sand traps and water, one becomes experienced on how to use each of those different clubs or leadership styles. Published by the Harvard Business Review in March-April edition of 2000, written by Daniel Goleman. And in that article, Daniel Goleman puts forth the research based upon Hay and Magbu's research, where they followed more than 3,000 executives to determine what leadership styles they were using. Over time, leaders developed the ability to accurately read the situation and seamlessly move between styles. And how it affected different situations in the organization: responsibility, flexibility, celebration standards, and commitment. So it was based upon these 3,871 executives whose research was presented, and it identified 6 leadership styles. There are coercive leaders, authoritative leaders, affiliative leaders, democratic leaders, pace-setting leaders, and coaching leaders. And leaders with the best results were able to move seamlessly over time back and forth through these 6 leadership styles. These 6 leadership styles you will see in the article that I encourage you to use as recommended reading. You will see that 2 styles destroyed the environment, produced a negative result. Left the environment, the organization, the culture was off, then had they not been used, and 4 were very positive. So these 6 styles were first coercive. The coercive leader demands immediate compliance. Do what I tell you to do. I don't need you to go give me a lot of input. You need to carry out command and control. Coercive leaders. There are times and places when this need to be used. This extremely crisis situation, it's suitable to be a coercive leader. An earthquake, a fire, running out of money. You only have 30 days left to keep their business afloat. Problem employees that nothing else work with. Next, authoritative leaders create vision, creates goals and alignment, and helps people to understand what we need to do, expectation and steps, and how do we get there. And this leader style, Marta says, come with me, let's do it together. So it was authoritative leaders. Next leaders is affiliative. Affiliative leaders build teams, build organization, build group of high-performing teams based upon relationships. People are important in this leadership. Democratic leader is next type of leadership, who build consensus, get involvement, get buy-in, ask people to contribute their ideas on how do we make things better together, continuous improvement. Next type of leadership is pace-setting leadership. I will set the pace. I will show you what to do. Then you need to be highly competent and highly motivated, and you need to do it alone. Don't ask me as a leader for help. Don't ask me for feedback. Just go and do it. If you can't do it, I'll find somebody else. And lastly, a type of leadership is coaching leadership, coaching leader. This is the leaders that spend the time, invest in their people, in their employees in order to get to long-term right skills. So, I said there were two of these leadership styles that left the organizational growth had negative results. Can you pick out which two they are? Well, you might see that they are the two of the far ends of the scale. On the y-axis over there, you see employee involvement from very low to ascending to very high, and on the x-axis you can see management direction from low to high or very high. So pace setting says employees, you are on your own. I'm really not gonna be there for you. I'm not gonna give you any direction. I'm not gonna give you feedback. You are self-motivated, you are competent. Go get it done and deliver the result to me. And if you can't, I'll find somebody else. The corrosive leader just says, I don't need your involvement. I don't need your suggestions. I don't need your input. I can figure this out on my own. Just, go back to work and do your stuff. Those to leave the organization roles have a place, short-term, very specific, probably not be used as long-term styles. So what's the package? Well, the best package is the other four, starting with authoritative, creating vision, expectation, goals, giving clear direction. Here's what we need to do together in order to accomplish, in order to perform the goals of our organization or team. Affiliative used with or authoritative to build a network, to build an affiliation, to build a strong net group unity based upon relationships and trust. Coaching to develop the right skills for the future and to get you involved. What do you think we can do to improve? So, right clear direction, authoritative, building a team, creating a motivated environment, building the right skills for the future, and get you involved into what we are doing so that you are part of this awesome team. So this group of 6: leadership, pace setting, democratic, coaching, affiliative, authoritative, and cohesive. Hot topic. How do we train individual leaders in order to understand the advantages and disadvantages of these 6 leadership styles? Now I'd like to consider with you the 5th function of management, controlling. Controlling, we need to make sure our plan stays on track. So how do we go about that? Why do we need controlling? Well, we said before that controlling is about eliminating risk. So we need to establish performance standards, goals, so that we know where we are going, and then understand when it's getting off track. And we need to be able to take corrective action. So let's consider what is a standard. Well, a standard is a documented requirement that provides requirements, specification, guidelines, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure that materials, products, processes, and services are fit for their purpose. That comes right out of the ISO organization in Geneva, Switzerland. That is a foundation for all of the ISO standards. So the control process requires that a manager to define a measurable control process for people, system, and products. And how do we go about establishing and setting up a control process? Well, there are 4 steps. First, what are we gonna hold ourselves to? So we should decide upon performance goal or standards, what you want. So you need to decide upon the goal or the standards, exactly what do we want. Then the second is to measure real performance from data points. That means what you got, what's real, what are the real results, and we have to figure out what we got. Next, what are we getting, what is being delivered, what is our real output. 3 is simply calculate the difference. Compare what we are getting to what we wanted, and then of course we have to make adjustments, get the plan back on track. So these 4 steps of control process: decide upon performance goal of standards, measure, calculate the difference, and make adjustments in any type of control process. I want to always keep $1,000 in my checking account. It's good. You call the bank, and the bank, you find out after they give you balance, say you have got $40 in your checking account. You are 960 short. So now you have to figure out, well, how do I make adjustments? Do I quit spending? Do I need more money? Do I need to rise or lower the standards? So what do I need to do? Somehow is that going to be a 1 month anomaly, or is that ongoing? In a company, we want to achieve 99% on time delivery standards. And we have to measure, and we find that we are at 95 rather than 99%. So we are 4% below what we wanted. So what do we do in this situation? We need to figure out why and how do we take a corrective action in order to get to that goal of 99%. Is that goal real? Is that goal real? Can we ever get to 99% of result? If not, we need to make adjustments there. If it is attainable, and we have done it before, then why are we off track? Everything in the controlling function need to be measures 2-way, quantitative and qualitative. So first we need to be able to measure quantitatively. Quantitatively is all about the numbers. If it can be calculated, we can see sizes and numbers of people and amount of monies and hours of operation and the pounds of chicken that we served, the number of meals that we served, that is quantitative. And quantitative, how do your customers feel? So quantitative is about the 5 senses: hearing and seeing and smelling and tasting and touching and perception and also feeling. You walk into a coffee shop, just imagine, and smell the coffee. Look at the environment. What do you see? Is it comfortable for you? Is it noisy, or it is relaxing environment? How does the display look? How do things taste? Quantitative, how many customers? Next, what's the price level? Then you ask, how many different selections of muffins, for instance, do they have? So everything that must be able to be managed, to be measured in two ways, quantitative and qualitative. Can you make decisions based upon quantitative? Absolutely. For example, Starbucks did it. Starbucks 7-8 years ago decided to have Howard Schultz leave the business, leave the everyday running of Starbucks, and they hired a new executive team. And that executive team decided that since we have a greater environment, we can sell more by putting food service and grills into the Starbucks. And they remodeled. They spent millions of dollars remodeling many hundreds of Starbucks stores, and sales started to decline. And so the board of directors asked Howard Schultz to come back, and Howard Schultz commenced or commissioned a survey, a customer survey. And the result of this survey said that customers don't smell the coffee. Just imagine, don't smell the coffee at Starbucks. And Howard Schultz made a decision with the rest of the executive teams to take that food service, those grills out, and get it back to the core business of a coffee shop. Millions of hours based upon it doesn't smell like a coffee shop anymore. Would you continue to go into an ice cream parlor and displays of ice cream was all dirty, and the counter was all smudgy and filthy, and the floor was also filthy, and you are going to let those servants serve you ice cream? I won't. So quantitative and qualitative. In addition to the two measures, there is three parts of a control system that we need to look at right now. So those three parts are what can we do before we even start on day on 1 or 4 the next day. Now I would like to look at strategic control points. Early warning controls, real-time controls, and post-actively controls. Pitfalls to try to prevent things from happening. Early warning. Current real-time. What can we do real-time to make sure that things are going right? And lastly, one that we are all familiar with, post-activity control feedback. What was delivered? What is the output? So we should feedback gathers information about the effectiveness or performance to goal or standards. Feedforce controls based on knowledge of how the system should respond, predicts the ability of the system to work before it is engaged. Identifies system components that are required before the operations first begins, and identifies system components that are required before the operation begins on subsequent days. And I propose to consider the example about feedforce controls. You are in business, you got that restaurant, so feedforce, we first have to have knowledge of what we want the system to look like and how it should work and respond. So we want to be able to look at feed-forward controls so that we can predict whether our system will work before we even start. We want to determine if the operation will meet requirements. We want to identify how the operation will be positioned for the next day for ongoing. So let's look at it more detail. Your restaurant, what is what is architecture? What does the environment look like? Comfortable chairs and seats and waiting area, menu, food service, the wait staff. Are they knowledgeable? Are they effective? Have they trained? Have they tasted the food? Many restaurants, national restaurants, have requirement that all of their wait staff test every one of their dishes on the menu so that they can respond appropriately when somebody says, "What does this taste like?" If you have an operation and you don't care whether anybody knows what the food tastes like, and they say, "I don't know," you are on your own. Well, so feed forwards. How do we prevent bad things from happening? Control what we can. So now we move into day 2, our day 2 of our operation, or into actually getting our operation going. So we have concurrent controls. There are controls that monitor the operation while things are in process. Clean lining of the operation, opening and closing hours, the temperature of the food. How about is the equipment working? Is the hot food coming out hot and the cold food coming out cold? Is our wait staff delivering food in reasonable time from the time they take the order until they deliver it back to you? Concurrent. You can make adjustments to eliminate errors and risk. The wait, the circle time from the time await. The wait staff takes an order until they deliver it. It's getting to be too long, so how can they make adjustments? Maybe the manager goes back there and helps to serve some of that food. Maybe they need to get somebody back in the kitchen to help get the food out and to get the food out. And lastly, management by walking around. So you have your restaurant, food is served, people are eating, they are at their dessert, they are getting ready to pay, they bill, and you go and say, "How was everything? How did it taste? Did we serve you appropriately?" So, concurrent controls, the second type of control mechanism. And then, lastly, feedback controls. And you are all familiar with feedback. It is post-evaluation. The operation's actual result. You have to determine whether the output aligned with your goals. Did it satisfy customers, your product, your services? And you have to rebalance for the next day. How was our staff today? Do I need to make adjustments for tomorrow? How much money did we bring in? How did our suppliers last? Were they appropriate? We need to make adjustments or not. And we analyze that performance and continually improve, and we identify deviation in what went wrong. Was it in the feed forwards, the concurrent or feedback? We need to make adjustment in this process. Where do we need to make adjustment in this process? And lastly, how do we review our performance, motivate our staff to continue to come back and be effective? Frequent flyer programs, frequent shopper programs. I come into my yogurt shop and I will punch your card. When you get 10 visits, you get a free yogurt. Acquire your mileage and take a free flight. Mileage and take a free flight. Keep the customer always motivated. And lastly, in this topic, I would like to introduce you to an important part of a management, and that is network. Networking your network. How important is networking and building a network in business, in school, in university, in life? So let's look at that. So what is networking first of? Well, networking is really a planned process of discovering and utilizing connection between people. A planned process of discovering. It is built upon a relationship where there is win, not one-sided. Both sides have value in this networking connection. Given first, before you ask, have you through of can I would you consider? Networking real is about telling about yourself, and sometimes for some of us that can be very difficult. But that's somewhat what networking is all about. And it should be noted that networking is about building trust. So in that book that I quoted way back in previous topics, Workplace 2000, The Revolution Reshaping Business, Joseph Byte and Henry Coates said that first, employees need to make sure that they are adding value, and that there will be such a tremendous movement in business that people are likely to look to work in 10 or 20 different companies. During their lifetime, and change job every 2 or 3 years, and that we need to be responsible for our own financial security. Can't rely on government social security, and their highest areas, the most demanded areas, will be with those people who have the strong verbal and vital communicational skills, who have industry networks. Bring your networks along. People experience in team building and problem solving and decision making, and being able to read and understand and interpret financial statements, and the ability to help with job transition. A support group to help you getting ready through transition to a new job, or during that transition time, to make life more bearable and hopefully even shorter than circle in between. So, networking can help you in a number of ways. It can help you gain insights into different fields, something you may be considering. It can validate your choice. Am I in the right area where I want to be? Is it where my passion is? You can observe people at work and you can gain visibility to like different types of industries. I want to be an architect, I think, but I really don't know what an architect does. Is there a way to shadow or networking with an architect to help you gain recognition in your field by publishing or writing or speaking? To provide support, as I said, during job transition, to provide you access to information and possible jobs, and get the information and build a connection. So here's a model that I think works pretty well. And I would like to encourage you to adopt this template. So first look at areas where connection are possible. And I give you an example. You have got your school, you have got industry, part-time job, you are interning. You are in a career, you are changing community, your community organizations, your city, your states, so who should be in your network? Friends and families, and what are you passionate about? What do you do? Activities and hobbies. So let's look at this more detail. And I recommend it started with the easiest. And maybe that's school or friends and family. Let's talk about friends and family. So do you really know what your dad does, your parent do, your brother and sister? Have you ever asked specifically your brother or sister to tell me really exactly what do you do? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being in that field? If you had to start over, would you go back into the same field that you are in? Why or why not? What about your neighborhoods? Have you ever thought to ask, maybe some of these neighbors you have seen over and over for years and years, have you ever thought to ask what do you do, your neighbor? Could you explain what you do? School, classmates, faculty? Have you built connection with previous faculty, professors, instructors? You belong to an alumni association, activities and hobbies. So you see that I'm kind of jumping around in this matrix because I'm helping you from school, industry, community, family, friends, and activities, hobbies. And I'm helping you to think about where I am most comfortable first, as a banker, as a parent, as a club countess, or maybe as a boss. So activities and hobbies. Travel agents if you like to travel, club contracts. Maybe you are in riding club. Maybe you are in diving club. Maybe you are in a fitness club. Also, might this have sports? Baseball, softball, football. What about religions leaders if you are so inclined, or a banker? What about mayor? Have you ever thought to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should go in and just say, what do you do? What do you think? In this industry, what's good and what's bad about being a bank manager? A loan officer? How about politicians? They love to talk. Have you ever thought about talking to supervisor or councilman in your city, and then at work? How about boss and previous bosses or managers? other department heads? How about trade associations? So, industry. I would add, encourage you to take and use this template and modify it any way you want to do. But networking is a planned process of building connections. I said win-win, so what's the win for them? Why would a busy person network with me? Most people, managers and directors and vice president and top managers and other stakeholders, they enjoy helping others. Do you know about it? Maybe grumble a little bit, but after you get past the grumbling. Now I don't have time, but what do you want? Oh, this is cool. So they enjoy helping people. People enjoy talking about themselves once you get them going. So tell me about your job. Why do you like your job? What motivates you to come to your work every day? People enjoy talking a little bit of a break. Oh yeah, let's go for a walk. Sure, I will tell you about this, and also, very few people say no as long as you have a valid reason for asking them to share. So I can do this, man. I can do this. I don't think I can do this. This is like so unnatural to me. Well, make it simple. Start with the easier first. Start with people that you know. It's so comfortable. It's like, hey dad, tell me, for example, hey dad, tell me really what do you do? What are the advantages and disadvantages of your work? Hey big brother, tell me about your job. What you do it again? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What's the long term this 5 years from now? What will your industry be like? So start first with easy, connect with your passion. You run, you exercise, you like photography. Start with your passion. It's easy to talk about and connect with other people with like passion. Voluntary to help, voluntary to help, in that passion area. Develop a structured plan. I'm going to talk to people every month. Start simple. Don't say I'm going to talk to one person a day. It's never going to happen. So make it easy, yeah? Make appointments during the time of your highest energy. Don't call somebody at 11 o'clock. This is too late probably. At 9 p.m. when you have had really a grueling day and you just about ready to fall off the chair and fall asleep. And you are trying to get somebody excited about seeing you. So when is the highest time for your energy? Write out what do you want to talk to them about. And tell me about your job, tell me about what is gonna be like in 5 years, and etc. Would you do it over? What are the pros and cons of your business? Practice in front of the mirror, firstly. So ask those questions in front of the mirror. The first 30 seconds and the hardest after you get about the 30 seconds. They may take over, right? And and then practice with friends and family. Figure out what bothers you about networking and quite frankly deal with it, right? I don't like to talk to people. Well, make it easy and natural. Start easy, start slow, start familiar. Haven't convinced you yet? So let's summarize networking tips. The first, begin with people you know well, connect with your passion, volunteer to help, create a structured plan and stick to it. Make calls or appointments at a time of highest energy. Write out key points you want to cover. Then you can also practice in front of a mirror with a recorder, practice on friends and family, and start the process with low priority organization or person. And also figure out networking obstacles and deal with it. So we looked at 6 different leadership styles and that have been evolutionary over the last 25 years and gaining steam. We looked also at the controlling process and the controlling function and how that works on the example. And lastly, building a network and how it might be advantageous to you. So thank you for attention.